Welcome to the Chuck-n-Deb Show, heard each Wednesday afternoon at 4 p.m. here on 1490 AM WWPR. And now, here's Chuck-n-Deb.
Today's show is brought to you by Tony and Guy Hairdressing Academy, Colorado Springs, Colorado, and Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. If you're looking for a cutting-edge education and instruction from the industry's leading methodology in both cut and color, then contact them right now to seek enrollment in a highly sought-after career. Be sure and visit the Chuck and Deb Show and the sponsor page in order to get their information so that you can find out more about Tony and Guy Hairdressing Academy.
Hi, I'm Chuck.
And Deb.
And welcome to the Chuck and Deb Show. We are so grateful and thankful that you have joined us. We've got a fantastic show in store for you, and here's why. And I said stored, but I mean store. All right, so we have a fantastic show in store for you today, and here is exactly why. Are you listening? Because today, Chuck and Deb are going to be totally raw.
Wow.
What do you mean, wow? I mean,
we are raw.
What do you mean, raw?
Raw, raw, raw.
No, not that kind of raw. Come on, man. Raw. We're going to be raw. We don't have anything laid out.
No.
We're just going to be ourselves today, and we are going completely raw without any topic, without any discussion. We haven't discussed the show at all today.
No.
All you and I are going to do is be completely raw.
Raw.
Oh, is that the best way you could say raw?
Raw.
No, it's not like a lion.
I wasn't doing a lion raw. I was doing raw. Or raw.
And she's supposed to be a biker chick. Give me a break. Raw.
Raw.
No, I don't know.
You
anyway.
said not like a roar, so I tried not to.
Well, okay, so
all
this
right.
is just us.
Yes.
So you still haven't got it right.
Raw.
Wrong.
Raw.
Wrong.
Okay. Of course, I would expect that. Say right, Deb. Raw. Right, Deb.
Okay, we're driving people crazy already. But you do really want to pay attention to this entire show today, because at the very end, you're going to be really, really, really amazed about what we have to share with you.
So we do need to let everyone know that what the Chuck and Deb Show is all about, and it is about the truth behind the motorcycle mystique and inspiring real-life stories that will help you discover your purpose, find true freedom, and define your destiny. So with our pre-ride safety briefing behind us, let's kick the kickstands up and let the good times roll.
All right, let's get it rolling here. And where are we going? Isn't that interesting? Neither one of us know where we're going. But I got an idea if you don't.
Sure. Throw it out there.
Okay, now you had one.
I didn't, no.
Oh, you don't have one? Okay. Well, I say we start where we are, just go over our week. And last week, we actually got to attend the West Coast Florida Riders bike night at the Angry Rooster on State Road 70. We invited you all to come down, and from what we understand, several of you did. So thank you so much for being there and attending and listening to the Chuck and Deb Show. You don't know how much that really means to us. We heard you out in the audience. We know who you are, not exactly who you are, but we know that you were yelling and you were chanting Chuck and Deb Show. So we're so grateful for that. So that was really a true blessing to hear that from the crowd. And we were there for the first time. We were kindly invited by Chris, founder of the West Coast Florida Riders. And he allowed us to have a canopy set up. He allowed us to have like a little
booth,
area.
yeah.
And he gave us a prime spot. So we're so grateful for him to be able to do that. I mean, we were out there, we weren't selling anything, we weren't really doing anything, and we're like trying to figure out really what we're doing. And he had given us a little bit of advance notice about a week ago. And so we went out and how big of a space do you need? He says, and I'm thinking, 10 by 10. And we had already done some research on the canopy and that kind of thing, because I have envisioned in my mind where the Chuck and Deb show is going while it's on the road. And it didn't work out anything close to what we thought would happen, or at least my vision of Chuck and Deb Show on the road.
Well, as you realize, anytime we do anything brand new, whether it's riding for the first time or not, or trying something new in life, there's going to be this process of figuring it out and kind of finding and fine-tuning what works and what doesn't work. So I kind of had that mindset that we did some planning and preparing before that event, and did our purchasing, and we can kind of start there. That was a little bit of a fiasco with the canopy. It was supposed to be here a few days ahead of schedule, and we were excited about that. Gave us time to do our own preparation and planning and put it up and test everything out, and we've got the dreaded email that everybody worries about, and it's delayed. And what made me the most nervous about this delay is not, okay, fine, it's delayed, but they said it could be from this day forward for about 5 days, and they have no idea. They were just going to have to check with the vendor, and that made me extremely nervous. Although I know in my heart that the way we all saw it working out with the canopy arriving and having plenty of time to prepare and kind of get our game on, and make sure that we were ready for our ride, that worked out. So it did arrive the next day, just 1 day delayed.
Yeah, no problem.
We had time. It was a beautiful afternoon.
We did set it up.
Had
a whole plan.
Everything ready to roll. And so in that regard, we really
Very nice
really
canopy.
prepared in many ways. So we couldn't have asked for better.
Well, that's true, and it did work out fine for us that the canopy did arrive the day before. And we did set up. It was very easy setup. And I think this is leading into a story. I'm not even sure I'm going to be able to tell that story, but we're going to get to it here in just a moment. But I want to make sure that we go nice and slow today, Deb, for our listeners, because I really don't want to miss anything, because there was a lot. And so let's just take our time. Let's not be rushed, and let's try to think of the details that were involved for the first time down there at the Angry Rooster as an invitee, being there as the Chuck-n-Deb show, and what all that meant to us, and exactly what we experienced, and see if we can take that story and share it with our audience.
I think that's a fantastic idea. So to kind of back it up a little bit, when you start to prepare for an event like that, if it's your first time doing it, there's so much to consider. Just with purchasing a canopy alone, we had done, like you said, a little bit of research, but then what color works for you and your message and or the venue that you're wanting to portray out there as a vendor in the marketplace. So that's one thing to consider. There are a billion, and I'm going to over exaggerate that just a little bit, of canopies to choose from and accessories to go with it. And so, we really had a vision in mind because of what we do, very different in the motorcycling community than many of the vendors out there that are selling their wares. So we had purchased it with a very intentional purpose, appearance, function, and so we practiced with that. When we set it up, we've got an actual enclosed cubicle so that we can do the things that we wanted to do, which is interviewing and having a chance to get to know the riders and, really explore their backgrounds and who they are and what gives them the thrill of riding. And so we've got so many things that we want to accomplish. And the nice thing when we did our preparation is it was a beautiful, sunny, calm evening. A little bit of breeze, but, we were able to test all of the walls and make sure that we had them coordinated together.
It's getting a little bit boring, but go ahead.
No, but we did. We just made we went through, it and pretty thoroughly to make sure that we knew what we were up against come the next evening. So the next evening arrives. We've got everything packed and ready to roll.
So we think.
Yep, so we think. So we get down to the Angry Rooster for our setup. And as you mentioned, they did a great job of putting us.
Oh, yeah,
Chris
was wonderful. Chris was like, hey, go right over there. He's like, take that main spot. He was like wonderful. And these guys from the West Coast Florida Riders Group, they're a great group of people. And everybody's so friendly and everybody gets along. And it's just so nice to see. And that's another way we want to destroy one of those mystiques out there about the motorcycle mystique. Because not all motorcycle riders are bad people, right? I mean, we had both. Everybody has bad spokes. Everybody, all right.
Absolutely,
we're gonna have bad spokes in every crowd you go in. There's gonna be a bad spoke. There's gonna be one of those broken spokes, if you will. Maybe I don't want to say bad, but maybe a broken spoke.
Yeah.
And just one that's missed out of place or not finely tuned like it should be, or it's true where it's been true to the wheel. Anyway, so we can go on a little bit about that, but I don't want to go too much.
No, but the one thing I'm just gonna kind of plug the West Coast Florida Riders right now, because I think the one thing that they do an excellent job of is they welcome all and any
They really
riders.
do.
They're
That's
just
so
very
true.
open-armed. It's not about what type of motorcycle you ride or how you ride. We heard stories from many while we were there about becoming part of the group and how easy it is to do that. And they're just a welcoming riding community
and
for all
how they
riders.
took care of one another.
Yes.
They're always taking care of one another. We talked to someone about that, and they shared how well that they take care of one another when they're on the rides, especially somebody new that they bring out.
Yes.
And so that means a lot. I mean, there's a lot of groups like that, and so there's a lot of people. But you know what? Not every group has to be that way.
Correct.
Some motorcycle organizations, groups, clubs, however you want to put it, could just leave that poor new guy way back and not care a moment about him.
Right.
But the impression that we got about the West Coast Florida riders is that these guys really cared about the people, and they watched out for the newbies that they brought along, and they just really, really, really took good care of them.
Yeah, so that kind of goes back to, I think most of the groups I know that we have interacted with, you do become just kind of a part of a family, and you have to really be careful that family's not so close knit that you're not welcoming to others. And so that just really made me excited about the West Coast Florida riders, because they seem to be very open to those that just have an interest in riding. I think that's pretty cool.
You're so right about that, Deb. You're absolutely right. Let's keep on moving on, because I think we have a lot to cover. But at the same time, I still want to keep it so we don't try to forget, because there was so much that we'd like to share today. And this is completely raw again, because we don't have any of this is not scripted. We haven't discussed it, and we're just coming to you live.
So, kind of keep the story rolling is that as we came up on the event, and West Coast Florida riders pointed out where they wanted us to set up shop, if you will. I look around, and he's putting us in this really nice shaded corner grassy area right beside this beautiful trailer that has a beautiful display of all these really cool items.
Cool
and I'm like,
lights, designs,
it's like, it's kind of nice that we're there, but also a little intimidating, because it's such a nice place and we don't know what the hell we're doing. We're just walking in here for the first time with a little bit of a plan. And so we were actually honored to be beside the Dirty Vegas Pierced Hearts trailer in Brandy and Jeff.
Dirty Vegas Pierced Hearts trailer.
Yes.
Dirty Vegas Pierced Hearts
was the
and
little
they
story.
had a lot of good things in there. And
they have some really cool items. They had she blessed me at the end of the evening with a little something, which I'll share at the end.
Okay.
But she's got some really cool design T-shirts.
And they had it all set up so well. Anyway, I know
It's
I'm getting off story. Let's stay on
beautiful.
track. I threw you off track again. I'm sorry. Keep going.
That's okay. So we get there, we introduce ourselves, say hello.
No, we didn't introduce ourselves.
They came over.
Brandy came
us.
over and offered to help
right.
us.
You're right.
Because she saw us struggling over there. So you got to back up with the story just a little bit.
Well, okay. So I back in to unload the car, and then in the meantime, actually, we'll kind of take two steps back.
That's what I'm saying. Let's just sort of slow down. We can jump ahead of ourselves so easy.
So we get there, we back into where we need to unload, and shortly after we get a few things out of the car, there was another truck and trailer trying to come up this little hill, and they were having difficulty because they were pulling the trailer, which we didn't realize at the time was the band. So,
oh yeah, that guy was something else.
He
was maneuvering this trailer like you wouldn't believe. I mean, that's the guy I needed to take lessons from. He was just he was right. Oh, you just had to see this guy. He was incredible. It's like he's done it, 1,000 times. I'm sure.
Yes, yeah. But then it got a little quirky there for a while. But he's maneuvering in these really tight spaces with trees and ditches and all sorts of really crazy stuff. So we've got everything unloaded, and it's time to set up our beautiful new canopy. So we start that process, and as we're beginning to set it up, we start having conversations about how we're going to do this, and are we going to set it up with our walls and all the things that we envisioned it to be.
Because the sun was behind us, and we're thinking, okay, we'll put this down for the sun, and we're just giving different thoughts through the entire process.
And in the meantime, there is this little breeze blowing as well.
A little breeze.
Well,
and it was actually a windy day that day, and we didn't know it, but apparently it was. Remember, if you guys are local, the weekend was windy as all. We should have been in Chicago or something.
So we decided, after we had a few conversations about what we were going to do as far as our setup and how that was going to all go, is we decided to put it up with all the walls.
Yeah, we did, didn't we? But that's how we started, but is that how it ended up?
Not quite. So this wind was giving us a fit, and the walls were caving in. It was just craziness.
Craziness. I love it when she talks craziness.
Craziness. So it was a challenge. We had things going on. It was moving the canopy. It was all over the place because it was not just a little bit
it wasn't
of
just
wind.
moving. No, hold on. It didn't move the canopy right away.
Well, no, it didn't. The walls. Our first wall was in, and it was pushing on the wall.
No, it didn't. Yeah, the canopy did not move right away.
No.
We had one wall set up.
Yep.
We had another wall that we're in the middle of setting up. I think we had the right wall and the back wall we're about to set up, and then it moved. It blew on us.
Yes.
A gust of wind came in.
Yes, it sure did, and lifted the canopy and actually scooted it pretty far. I
Yeah,
thought
it
it was
moved
like
it
real
over. It's
scary.
like, oh boy, and I had to grab a hold of it and hold it down while you got a hold of the back end or whatever.
Walls, it was kind of a circus show all the way around, us trying to figure out what we had to do. So
And so we're in the middle of this, and then, another gust of wind comes.
that's right, and you're going to want to hear the rest of that story. So stay tuned as we hear a word from our sponsors.
Tony and Guy Hairdressing Academy, where hairdressing is our passion. Your spotlight experience begins with a hands-on, learn-by-doing approach. A true salon experience. We create entrepreneurial hairdressers with endless opportunities. Financial aid available for those who qualify. Got a creative flair, a passion for people, a desire to be a leader in the fashion industry? Then call our Tony and Guy Hairdressing Academy in Colorado Springs, Colorado at 719-390-9898. Again, that number is 719-390-9898, or visit www.coloradosprings.tonaguy.edu. To learn more about our school in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, call 208-930-1276. Again, that number is 208-930-1276, or visit www.coeurdalene.tonaguy.edu. A career in beauty is right for you. Now choose the cosmetology school that puts the spotlight on you. Attend the Tony and Guy Hairdressing Academy.
Hi, and welcome back to the Chuck-n-Deb Show. Where were we? Our canopy was about ready to blow over. It almost hit the car.
It did.
It almost hit our car that was parked right next to it. I remember it lifting up, and we were real close over there and almost hit the car.
It did. Almost hit the car. It was pretty
That would have messed it up pretty bad.
It would have scratched it horribly. So I'm so grateful that we caught it. So we quickly realized that the problem, you pointed out the fact that the walls were the issue.
Yeah, well, yeah, because you wanted to put up the back wall. You thought if you put the back wall...
I said maybe one more wall would help it out.
Yeah, it would prevent the wind from blowing and hitting this wall. And I'm like, well, I think two walls. Actually,
we did a third wall. We did two side walls.
I can't remember. We were trying to do all sorts of things. I'm sure people got a quick kick out of watching us. Like you said, it was a circus.
It was a circus. And so then I said,
Chuck-n-Deb circus.
So I said, well, maybe if we turn the canopy so that the wind can blow through it.
No, I said that.
I'll
let you take credit for it.
That doesn't matter. We were all talking about different solutions, and ultimately it was about getting the sides down off the canopy because they were just creating this kite.
It was a kite.
It was horrible.
We could have hooked a string up and let that thing fly all over the place, but there were too many motorcycles to have to worry about.
That would have been bad.
Why weren't we on our motorcycle?
Well, we had a whole bunch of gear, and this canopy is huge and heavy, and it just doesn't transport well on a motorcycle. So we may need to rethink those solutions as we go.
Like the trailer or something.
Exactly.
So I like to ride them.
So what we decided to do then, take the walls down. That was the next decision, and then we had these really nice neighbors that came over again.
And then all of a sudden, Brandy sort of appeared. That's what we were talking about. That's sort of where this was going.
Brandy, there's Brandy.
Oh, I meant to come. I saw you guys. I wanted to come over and help or something. I should have come over earlier and saw you, help you out.
So the first suggestion, we removed the walls. The first suggestion was to lower the back end.
Well, that's because Chris came back and he saw it or something, and Chris was kind enough. He said, yeah, I saw a drunk guy do that on the beach, and it worked real well, so lower the back, and that was good. But then Brandy's husband, Jeff, came over, and he had some suggestions about what to do. Why are you laughing?
Because it was absolutely, thinking back, it must have from someone else's outside
Oh, if anybody would have been sitting there in a chair watching all this, it's sort of like people backing in boats or, loading boats off
for
and
the
on.
very first time. Yeah, it's like, when are these amateurs going to really get their act together? Because it just had to have been hysterical being on the outside. I know I was just in panic mode going, oh no, we're up
You
against
were really
the
in
clock.
panic mode?
Yes, because we had so many things to try and get done and accomplished before this big event started. So
I was more in embarrassment mode. You were in panic mode. I was in embarrassment mode.
Yeah, so the two of those together just doesn't work too well. So
Well, it worked out. I mean,
it did.
Just
And so,
sort
of
of
course,
be a theme. It's sort of a theme for the Chuck-n-Deb show.
embarrassment.
It's sort of like the
and
Rocking Road show. It's brought to you by technical difficulties.
Yeah,
Ours
Chuck-n-Deb
is Chuck and Show brought to you by difficulties. Period.
That's right. By stuff that just doesn't go quite right. So,
Yeah, we can't say that on the air. Stuff.
That's right, because it doesn't go quite right, though. So remember that. But we're getting better at it. So Jeff has this great.
And who is
idea.
Jeff? You haven't mentioned who Jeff is.
Brandy and
well,
Jeff
let's make sure,
are our
because I
next
might
door
have missed
neighbors
it.
at Dirty
Next door neighbors.
Vegas, Pierced Hearts. So
That's
with the
right.
nice trailer.
Beautiful trade. But you didn't
Beautiful trailer.
mention that Jeff was part of.
Well, I did. I said Jeff and Brandy, but
you
anyways.
guys know she didn't.
Okay, so Jeff comes over finally to help a lending hand.
Yep.
And
I'm tying one up the way I think it should be tied up, and Jeff goes over and helps you.
Wait. Brandy says, well, we've got these
Okay,
augers
there you go.
that we got to kind of take a half a step back. She said, we've got these augers that we've used to tie and strap down ours in the past.
Because they see that the canopy's blowing all over the place and motorcycles are in danger and people are eyeing us like they've got about ready to pull,
And this event is not going very well to start for us. So they come over, help out. And so they go get some augers, they get some straps. And so Jeff said, this is what they do. And I'm like, it's perfect because we've used those same augers for our dogs.
Yeah, we used to, for our dogs in our backyard, we use those same augers to go ahead and hook them up and let them run free back there with a leash on and they could get around and have a great time with it.
But we were not in that same place that night. So we're anchoring in the augers into the ground.
Plus, we did say that, if we had to, we were going to go over, I kept calling it Home Depot, but it was Lowe's.
It was Lowe's,
oh,
right.
Yeah, here we go.
Wrong store.
Okay, anyway.
So we always had a backup.
Did.
We had a backup plan
That's
that we
what
could
thought
always
we
go
were gonna-
get supplies
But then there was Brandy and Jeff out of
Jeff,
nowhere.
That's right. So Jeff has these great tools to help out. He lends them to us for the evening. And of course, I'm on one side putting that tail end down, and Chuck's on the other side, and we're running the augers into the ground. And I just happened to get mine in first. Not like it's a big deal, but I
there
just
you go.
have
Rub
to
that
rub it
in.
But
I hit a few rocks, some
Sure.
boulders. There were big, huge boulders over there.
That
is
dirt
the
was
reason
hard.
that I couldn't get it in.
Yeah.
Well, you didn't see there were some boulders I picked up and moved them.
okay, I didn't see that, but
Yeah.
I'll give
Jeff,
you
I think,
credit.
saw him maybe.
Yeah, he probably kicked him on the way or something.
yeah,
Yeah.
maybe.
So I got the auger in, and I don't know how to tie off the knots on that. So Jeff comes over and says, "Oh, well, let me show you how to do that."
Is that what he said? Let me show you.
Yes. So then he goes, "This is how you do the knots from my days
That's what
of
he said.
marine life."
And he said, "This is how." That I'm just clarifying. That's what he said to you.
Yeah, this
Okay,
is
all right, keep
how.
going.
So he kneels down and starts to show me how to loop one in and make it longer and then loop it back in again. He said, it'll never come untied if you do this double marine knot like this.
Very interesting. Those were the exact words, because I hope, Jeff, if you're listening, if those were the exact words, please let us know. But those were the exact words he said to you?
I believe so.
Pretty
It's
darn
been a little
close.
while. So
Okay,
he said,
because
he was really wanting to help.
Because here's where the embarrassment comes in.
Yeah.
Jeff finishes with Deb, and he sees me over there struggling. And Jeff comes over, he kneels down, he says, "Watch this." Now, Jeff didn't say that to you?
I don't think so.
No, Jeff says, "Watch this." And Brandy says, "Yeah, I've watched it 100 times or something." and so Jeff goes ahead and he shows me how to tie it, and I am feeling so not so macho. There's certain things I know and certain ways I do, but
It's a marine knot.
and you know what? I remember what he said. I said, "You need to go." He says, "You need to be a Cub Scout." And the thing is, when I used to live up in the Panhandle, I was a Cub Scout. I used to love wearing my Cub Scout uniform, but that didn't transfer to real life to where here I am all these years later, don't really know how to tie a knot. I know how one knot to tie. I've taught myself, and that was a fishing knot, and that's the only knot I've really remembered to be able to tie.
I'll beg to differ. You actually know how to tie a tie knot, too.
Oh, well, I do know how to tie a tie knot.
knot.
That took a
Couple
lot of
of
practice too. You're talking about a tie,
A
like a
tie,
tie.
yeah,
No,
a
we
tie.
don't talk ties on motorcycle shows.
No, but I'm giving you credit.
Well, okay.
For a second type
and
of
I do
knot.
know how to tie just a regular knot, and that's what I did in the first place because when Jeff came over, I had to untie my regular knot for him to say, "Now watch
this.
Now watch this." But he was saying, "Now watch." He says, "Now watch." In other words, he was trying to instruct me on how to do it, and I saw how he did it. I was like, "Okay, fold it in, fold it down." Could I reproduce that? I said so. No, and it was. I mean, come on, guys. I mean. Is there anybody out there like me? I just don't know how to tie knots, and it's embarrassing. There's a lot of things I don't know how to do. For one, like we're talking about the Smokey Daniels band.
Yes.
Great band, in fact.
Yes.
Not only are they a great band, but they really know how to back in a trailer.
Yes.
And when I saw them doing that, because, see, I have this fear, and I even mentioned that to Jeff. I said, well, maybe you could teach me how to tie knots, and maybe you can teach me how to back in your trailer. I said, because I just can't do it. And he said, no, it's the trailer there. It's bigger. That's what I hear. Everybody says if it's bigger, it's no problem. You'll have no problem with it. And years ago, we had this little bitty trailer that we bought, and I bought it originally for the motorcycle, which thank goodness I never really ever used. Ended up giving it away, paid some good money for it. Dave Curry, if you're listening. Anyway,
Thank you, Dave.
Anyway, we gave that, ended up giving it away, but I could never, and it was what, I don't know, what was that, 5 foot maybe? It didn't even fit my bike on it. That's why we couldn't get it.
It was like
because the Dyna didn't fit.
10 by 5 by 10 or something maybe.
And it had
wasn't
sides on it that Dave made and everything for it. I thought it would be great, but it didn't work with a damn. Never even worked whatsoever, in fact.
No.
And so I tried to back that into our driveway. I don't know how many times. So guess what I ended up doing?
Pushing.
I ended up taking it off the hitch.
Yep.
And then pushing it back in place.
Yeah.
And Deb knows that's one of my, and so, this is where I think the show might be going and why you might want to pay attention to the very end, because, there's a lot of things that happen in life. And we talk about this on the Chuck-n-Deb show and how we try to relate things to different things. This is like getting out of your comfort zone.
It's completely out of your comfort zone.
To be able to get out of your comfort zone is really something because that's the only time you're really ever going to grow. And I really do want to be able to have somebody teach me how to back in a trailer. I just really feel like, it's really unmanly. I'm not the man if I don't know how to tie a knot. I'm not a man if I don't know how to back in a trailer. And there's a lot of things, and I'm not your ordinary man. I don't think.
No.
But that's okay. But there's just certain things that I do want to know, that I need to know, and there are the things that I will take on to make sure that I know them. I mean, if I, like the fishing knot, I had to know my fishing knot. I know how to tie that knot. Yep. Because I love to fish, and I wanted to make sure I knew how to tie that knot. So I learned how to do it. Learned it out of a magazine, if I remember right. What do you have to say, Debbie? You're just sitting over there sort of falling asleep on me.
Not me. I would never fall asleep on you.
Well, it looks like it.
Not during the day. So, we want to make sure that everybody stays tuned because this is just the first phase of our exciting time at the Rocking Rooster...
Angry Rooster. You mean the Mad Cock?
No, yes.
It was the Mad Cock. There was a Mad Cock out there.
I just want to make sure you were paying attention.
It was the Mad Cock.
It was.
Mad Cock, known as the Angry Rooster.
So, kind of to wrap up, just getting situated and set. So, we got the augers in the ground. We had Jeff assist with these fantastic marine knots to get everything really up. And then it was time to get the tables and everything else up. So the one thing that we had really not planned out thoroughly was our banners. But
the banners, were
again, that's where Brandy...
You ever see the picture? They're sort of sad. But
well, Brandy came to the rescue.
I know. I stepped away. I go to the restroom or something. There's Brandy over there.
Yeah. She goes, well, this is what we've done in the
Miss
past.
Helpful. She's so wonderful. I mean, that's what you get. This is what you get I mean, I think Jeff said he used to bike. He was a biker. And that's what you get from the motorcycle community. I mean, if anything, folks, I want you to hear about this. I mean, we're talking about the West Coast Florida riders and how they're so helpful and how they were so generous and the things they did for the Chuck-n-Deb show. And then how we've got these people right next door to us who didn't know us and came over and lended a helping hand and embarrassed me.
And helped over
Not
and
on
over.
purpose, of
Yeah.
course. But they just continue to help. And they were so
right.
friendly. And just, it was just so wonderful to be able to go from an uncomfortable environment
Right.
to a comfortable environment.
Correct, because we were definitely stepping out.
And because they were being who they are. And we were being who we are. And it was just it really jived real well.
It was a great time, and that was just the beginning of a fantastic evening together. So she got the banners put up on the tables if you want to make sure you get out to the Facebook page for the Chuck-n-Deb show, and we've got pictures loaded up there of our first setup at an event.
Oh, okay. So you're trying to direct everyone, and we've got to get the chuckandebshow.com sort of updated as well. But you're sending everybody out to our Facebook page.
Right,
all you got to do is up at the
Chuck
top of
and
Facebook, in case people don't know, there's a search bar at the very top where you can enter Chuck,
the
letter N, Deb show, and that'll bring up our page. It should bring up our page, and you'll be able to find some of the pictures, possibly some of the videos that we've done from the Angry Rooster, the bike night that was put on by the West Coast Florida Riders.
So stay tuned as we hear a word from our sponsor.
Thanks for being here, guys.
Are you looking to buy or sell a home in the Bradenton, Sarasota area? Then contact Deb Bell at deblbell.com or 941-713-5035 for your real estate professional at Reynolds Realty Gulf Coast. Again, that number is 941-713-5035.
Hi, I'm Chuck.
And Deb.
And welcome back to the next half of the Chuck-n-Deb show. We're so grateful that you are tuning in today. You guys really mean a lot to us. We're so grateful and thankful for each and every one of you. And we want to continue to bring you fun and excitement and help you learn about the motorcycle mystique and some true life stories as well. So you've been hearing us for the last few weeks, but we've got some things lined up in the future that we're going to be doing some interviews. And we actually, speaking of interviews, I think we have to sort of go there, don't we?
We probably do.
It sort of hurts me to say that we did some interviews at the West Coast Florida Riders bike night at the Angry Rooster. And
why does that hurt you?
Well, because it was really what I felt. Number one, it was probably one of our very first video interviews that we did in person,
right, in live, we're correct,
and at a bike show. And I felt that it was an extremely well done interview. Not speaking on my behalf,
right?
I'm speaking on the gentleman that we interviewed, and the interview did not turn out.
It was disappointing.
It goes back to like I said, the Rocking Road Show, they have theirs, brought to you by technical difficulties, and the Chuck-n-Deb show also have brought to you by difficulties. So, and ours in this case was a technical difficulty, and it really breaks my heart because I really do feel like that was a great interview, and I really wanted our audience to be able to hear this interview. It's not something that you can reproduce, and I'm sorry to be on sort of a downer in this segment, but I just want you to. I just like you to know that it does.
It's disappointing.
It has been very disappointing for me because I was really into it. But I mean, it's actually sort of funny when you watch the video, and I feel sorry for the guy because I got this big belly that I got to work on, and I even said something to him after the fact a little bit later. I said, "Hey, we were belly to belly, making a joke out of it." But belly to belly means you're out there talking to people, okay,
face to face,
and that's what that means.
Side
and
by
we were
side.
belly to belly, and that was, and so now I know where that term comes from. Being belly to belly is because you're touching bellies. That means you're close. That means you're interacting. That means you're right there with people. You're really part of who they are.
Right.
And that's what really got me about this interview. And the thing is I really wish I could have done it the right way, and it comes down to it was my mistake. So anyway, I don't want to dwell on the negativity too long, but I do want you to know that, you know, things do happen.
Things happen.
And
Life
actually,
happens.
Deb, you did an interview.
I did. Oh,
And
yeah.
it was an exciting. It was, the ladies were fantastic. They did a great job.
I did. I talked to a couple of lady writers, pretty exciting gals. Charlie and Jen were the two ladies that were
They were
willing to come
fantastic. They
over.
were so much
exciting.
fun. They were very much
They were
fun.
upbeat,
They were like so
energetic.
much fun. They were part of the West Coast Florida Riders. Wonderful ladies. You know what I liked? And I know I interrupted you again, but I'm good at this, right?
Yeah.
You know what I liked about them?
What?
They were authentic.
They were authentic.
They were
Very
authentic.
real.
They were who they were. They didn't care, you know, what you thought about the way they behaved, what you thought about how they looked, what you thought about anything about them, because they were very confident in who they were.
Yes.
And they were very happy about who they are.
Yes.
And I think that's something, when you really think about the motorcycle mystique and being part of the motorcycle, society, cult, or whatever you want to call us, you know, that is an opportunity to bring out your identity in a way.
Yes. You bring out your unique self, and
you can stand strong in that.
Absolutely. So a couple things that I kind of took away from that. You know, one question for Charlie was, you know, what would she give? What kind of advice would she give to any new riders? And I loved the fact that she said, always remember to ride your own ride. And so I thought that was great motorcycling advice, especially from a lady rider. And then Jen's advice was, you know, one thing that's kind of sacred to her in her riding is the back seat of her motorcycle. And she said that the back seat is reserved for her daughter to ride with her. And I thought that was, you know, very touching for her to share that too. So great ladies. Absolutely loved to ride, and you could see it all over them. They were great to interview. And, you know, we'll do a little bit of snippets, I think, from time to time with different interviews that we have moving forward. And, you know, if I can get a few of these up from the two ladies that I talked to, I'll certainly make sure we do that for you.
And I think what's important is sometimes we're going to have interviews that maybe we don't want out to the direct public. So maybe what we're thinking about doing is we're going to create the Chuck-n-Deb Show group. We're going to create a group where we can have these, because in a group you can have, it can be more private,
right?
It
kind of
can
personalized.
be more personal. The like you guys, the viewers, the listeners, all our audience will be able to interact with one another and actually share really cool things. It's sort of like the West Coast Florida Riders and their group. And I want to go ahead and mention that again. The West Coast Florida Riders. Go out, check it out. They are growing by leaps and bounds.
Crazy.
I'll bet by the time you get out there and check this out, they're well over 1,000.
Yes, they're growing so quickly.
And it's just because, number one, you can tell that these people care. They share a lot of great information, and there's a lot of caring involved, and they just come together as if, you know, as the motorcycle community does for one another, and they bring those people around them that are up and coming in the group, and they help them out.
Yes.
And they just have loads of fun, right?
They do. They like to have a great time.
There's no party like a West Coast party.
So just
watch
to
that
ask
video,
them.
because you'll get a kick out of that. That one on our Facebook
Yeah,
page you're going to
that
love.
one was
You'll
sure.
want to share that. Might go viral.
You never know.
I sort of doubt it.
So yeah, they're a
Should go viral.
good group of people that are just very welcoming. And again, you know, we kind of said that. I don't want to kind of beat a dead horse here
No,
with them, but
no.
they're a great group of people
The
that
whole
just
idea
love
is
to
that,
ride. And just love to share that passion with one another. So one person in particular, earlier, I just want to kind of come back to this. Earlier, we talked about a rider that was a new rider to the group, and they shared...
Was that Scott?
Scott.
And he's part of the West Coast Florida Riders, and he does their videography.
Yeah,
and,
he's
I don't know if we want to say a whole lot about him, because we haven't talked to him about this. But we met him and his family. Wonderful,
Very
beautiful
great
family.
people,
Great
yes.
family. Oh, they really give us chills. I remember his wife and I were talking. I got chills. I get chills now talking about it.
Yeah.
It's amazing that I can even remember that, because I don't have that good of a memory sometimes.
But, you know, Scott just has kind of stepped up to the plate for the group because of his expertise with photography and video and all those great things and talents that he has. And so he had actually mentioned that he was a newer rider, I think as of November last year. So you think about that. That's not even really 6 months. Well, we're coming up on 6 months now. But he said, you know, they were just very welcoming to him as a new rider and brought him in and put him in a very safe place within the group for the rides. And, you know, so he was the one that kind of gave us that inside look of really how the West Coast Florida riders ride as
And
a
how they
group,
treat
and
one
how they
another.
treat one another with respect and understanding and appreciation. And
They're for one
And,
another,
you
which
know,
is
there.
what this is about, really, ultimately. We're all together, you know. We have one common thing, and that is motorcycles.
Right.
And a lot of times it doesn't matter what motorcycles you ride. So
That's
that's a
correct.
good thing. I mean, I'm not sure if scooters are included in that.
Well,
but you
no.
are on two. What do you mean, no? They are on two wheels.
They are.
I know, but everybody makes a joke about the scooters, like the time that one wreck that got passed by Rex.
Yes, the Vespa passed up Rex. I can't believe it. The Harley was passed by a Vespa. But anyway, how we digress. So just
Poor
one
Rex.
thing I
He
want to
did-
say about that.
Has no fault on Rex at all.
One thing I want to say about that from a rider coach Deb standpoint is, you know, the rider coach program in Motorcycle Safety Foundation doesn't recommend new riders really to ride with groups.
Oh, really?
They do not. And, you know, when you think about it, it's because as a rider, there are so many, as you call moving parts,
Whoa,
things
a
to
lot
think
of moving
about.
parts with other
And
groups.
now you're in a group, and there are a bunch of different dynamics in a group that you don't have when you're riding maybe 1, 2, 3 motorcycles. You've got other motorcycles, you're in staggered formation. Sometimes you come out of staggered formation. You know, sometimes you're watching one another. It depends on the length of the ride. You can get fixated on the motorcycle in front of you and not really paying close attention. So there's so many different dynamics in the group riding model that make it what's not recommended to be safe. So, you know, again, rider coach Deb, I always love group riding because I felt that as a new rider myself several years ago, that the riding group, if it's done in the right way and the group understands it, you can learn a ton from other riders and riding in a group environment.
Well, I mean, I like the Hog chapter. I remember at first they used to have training how to ride with the group.
Correct.
So I hear what the Motorcycle Association is talking about, right? What is it?
Motorcycle Safety
Safety
Foundation, right?
Foundation.
MSF, yep.
I understand, but there is also other things in place that will allow people to learn to be able to ride with groups. Correct.
Totally agree.
And but I think what you're saying is it's important for people to understand and groups to understand that if you've got a new person coming in, and that's what it sounds like the West Coast Florida Riders did as well, is they
Correct.
kept a close eye on Scott.
Yes.
Okay. Or any new rider that they have involved, because in riding in a group, if you're not experienced with riding in the group and all that's involved with riding in the group, and if you're not training people on how to ride in the group, it could be
disastrous,
Could be
quite
disastrous.
honestly. And we've seen some group rides that just went awry. Perfect example, one rider in a really tight 90-degree turn missed the turn, went straight into the field, over a fence, and back onto the road a little ways down. So it can become disastrous. Thank goodness he wasn't
but it
hurt.
happens.
It does happen. So, you know, there's two sides to every coin. And that's the one thing I just wanted to point out is that, you know, it depends on the group and the group atmosphere. And, you know, some of the groups, as you mentioned, Chuck, did a great job of taking you in a much smaller group and teaching you kind of the hand signal concept about riding staggered, about, you know, how we're going to do turns and make those things happen as a group that are going to be a little bit differently when it's just 1 or 2 motorcycles together.
Well, I'll never forget the first time we were invited. I mean, we're in the Harley shop. We're at the Harley dealer, and we're shopping around. We're just looking around. And this little dude, that's his name, by the way, little dude comes up, and he asks us if we'd like to join the Hog chapter for a ride. And I was a little bit apprehensive, but we ended up doing it. And it was the first ride I'd been on. But I'm a little bit of an experienced rider. I had a little bit of experience before I started getting back on my Harley again. So I've had some experience in riding. But if you've never ridden before, to go ride with a group, when you don't have any experience, you're gonna be challenged. It
Right.
doesn't mean you can't do it. We're all for you.
Correct.
You can do it. Don't get us wrong. But you just need to make sure that you're extra safe. A lot of times what they'll do, and don't feel bad if they put you in the back.
Correct.
Because that's where you need to be. Okay, at least that's the way the Hog chapter
It's
taught
a
us.
safe
It's like
place.
put them in the back. You've got the tail in the back, and so they're watching after you. They're taking care of you. So if somebody says they're putting you in the back, do not feel bad about that or bad about your riding skills or anything like that. First of
nothing to
all,
do
they got to
with that.
understand what your riding skills are, how well you are. They got to fill you out and that kind of thing. So, you know, maybe some groups aren't as technical as those kind of things. I know
Right.
the Hog chapter has to be in many ways because there's a lot of liability and things involved.
Absolutely
Should probably-
right.
Anyway. So there we have it.
Yeah, so don't hesitate to ride with a group if that's something of interest, but realizing that there are many dynamics that go along with that, and so then just that's the fun of riding. You can ride one-on-one, two with
That's
two
right.
other
You can
people.
do whatever
you can do
you
whatever
want.
you'd like. Ride with a huge group. We've been with big groups, small groups,
Hey,
just you and I.
Rolling
just
Thunder
me.
was a huge group.
It was huge group. Oh gosh, you want
Millions.
to talk about huge
We
group?
love that.
Yeah,
That was one of
that's
my
coming up.
favorites.
That's actually coming up
And
Memorial
we might
Day.
have to start promoting that. And
We
see
do.
if we can get a group together. Maybe the West Coast Florida Riders might want to get a group together along with the Hog chapter, and all of us go up and see what we can do. American Legion.
Yep. because
Form that. Maybe if we all go up. Could you imagine that?
That would be amazing.
I mean, I know way back we heard the stories about there's this group, this one guy maybe, who formulated the groups, and they had a lot of bikers go up to Rolling Thunder.
Yeah. So, and the word is out in the marketplace, as far as riding goes, is that this may be the last one.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of support and encouragement. If you have not ridden a Rolling Thunder ride, there's nothing like it.
You've got to be there, and you've got to be there for the right reasons. And it's just, you just got to be there. It's got to be an experience you have. And you got to do it before, like Deb says, who knows when it's going to end.
Yep.
So it's just like everything else. We've got all these great rides. We have Sturgis, Daytona, all the ones that we could go on and name them. All the ones that we haven't been to yet, but we're going to get there.
We'll get there.
That's
We got
our
them on the
whole
list.
plan.
We'll be there.
And you'll be hearing from us live when we're there.
And we're going to meet so many amazing people and have the opportunity to interview them. I just cannot wait. So we've got some great, exciting things coming up. So you just want to be sure and stay tuned.
That's right. And we've got a lot that we want to fill you guys in on. But right now, I think it is that time.
Oh, do we have to hear a word from our
Let's
sponsors?
go ahead and hold on. But before we go,
Okay.
we have enough room left for some more sponsors. As a matter of fact,
We do.
We're going up to Leesburg, and we are looking for sponsors who want to sponsor us in Leesburg.
You bet. So if you are interested in being a sponsor of ours, please give us a call at area code 941-216-ROCK or 7625. We would love to hear from you either in the local Tampa Bay, Bradenton, Sarasota marketplace. But as Chuck mentioned, we are heading to Leesburg and cannot wait to bring some great stuff to you live from Leesburg. So if you're in the Leesburg area and need someone right there in the middle of the mix to put the word out about you and your business, please feel free to reach us at 941-216-7625 or ROCK, R-O-C-K. Again, that's 941-216-7625 or the word ROCK, or you can visit us at the Chuck-n-Deb show.com.
Attention business owners and entrepreneurs. Are you frustrated and confused about how to get the internet to work for your business? Are you sick and tired of struggling and watching your competition profit and grow online? Do you want to get your business online and you just don't know where to start? Are you afraid it might be too expensive? Well, if the answer is yes, then listen real close to what I'm about to say. Marketing online is no longer an option. It's a must if your business is going to survive and thrive. Did you know that 97% of consumers search online for products and services? Today your business needs to be on the internet and in places like Google, Facebook, YouTube and LinkedIn. On Cyber Monday, $7.9 billion in online revenue was generated in 2018. 54% of visitors came from mobile devices, while around 30% purchased on their mobile device. It's now statistically much more likely that customers will be interacting with your website from a smartphone or tablet rather than a desktop. Is your website mobile friendly? It needs to be. Now for a limited time, and for listeners of the Chuck-n-Deb Show, we will design a website for you absolutely free. Here at Local eBiz Solutions, we know how to get your business online and help you start generating leads and sales. We have simple, affordable solutions that will quickly grow your business online. Getting your business online has never been easier or as affordable, because we make it simple. Give us a call and we'll take care of the rest. Call Local eBiz Solutions at 941-870-3614 or visit us online at www.localebizsolutions.com. Again, call Local eBiz Solutions at 941-870-3614 or visit us online at www.localebizsolutions.com. Ask about our free website design and mention the Chuck-n-Deb Show.
Welcome back. This is Deb.
And I'm Chuck.
And we're so glad that you have joined us for the final segment of the show. So to kind of wrap up The Angry Rooster and West Coast Florida Riders bike event that we did last week. Attended. We were actually a vendor, so it was pretty exciting.
Fun stuff.
There were some great, I posted pictures of all of the fantastic vendors that were in attendance with us. So Fran Hosh was there.
Well known.
We met Wendy with the Bodacious Cowgirl.
Thank
and I'm
goodness
going to
for her,
mention,
right?
Yep. So she came up after the event. She was wrapping things up and started talking. We were talking about other events, and, Leesburg was coming up. And so the one thing that I mentioned to her is that I have been desperately looking and trying to find a place to stay there so that we could attend the event. And she was like, "Really? You're kidding me?" And so as we talked a little bit more about it, what she expressed was that she had a hotel. She's got several different reservations going on, but she had a hotel that she was going to have to let go, and asked if we would be interested in taking on that reservation. So I connected with her. And in the same conversation, Brandy jumped in there too from the Dirty Vegas Pierced Hearts and mentioned that she knows the event coordinator at Stormy Hill Harley Davidson. And so that she would reach out to them for us on our behalf and see if there were any open spots and see if they might be able to squeeze us in as a vendor at that.
Too cool.
So it all kind of worked its way out. And so I do want to give a shout out to Wendy with the Bodacious Cowgirl.
Thanks a lot for
Thank you
sharing
so
your
much.
room
Yep.
reservations with us.
We got
Wouldn't
that.
be there without you.
We got that switched over pretty easily, which
so
is
everybody
pretty
want
awesome.
to pay her attention next time she's out, wherever you see her.
Yep.
At the Angry Rooster. If you go up to Leesburg, I don't know
She
where
is
she's going to be.
I'm
but
not sure where in Leesburg, but she
you'll wanna
will
check
be
her
there.
out and,
So be sure and let her know that the Chuck-n-Deb show sent you to the Bodacious Cowgirl. And then also we will be at Stormy Hill Harley Davidson, right there next to our friends Brandy and Jeff with the Dirty Vegas.
There might be
Pierced
more
Hearts. So,
embarrassing moments. Just stay tuned.
or there, I can't wait for the successful moments, because I think we've done some strategizing since that last event and figured out ways to make this next one even better.
Oh, you're talking about with the canopy.
Yes, the
okay.
canopy. Well, plus a few other things. So we've prepared, I think. So I'm excited about that.
So Brandy was really helpful and
Extremely
instrumental
helpful.
with getting us up there. And we don't, we don't have anything to sell up there. We're just going up there, talking to people, just having a good time, getting to meet some other bikers and seeing what they're interested in, that kind of thing. So we want to really give a shout out to her and Jeff for just being the people they were, because they're wonderful people.
Yeah.
Looking forward to hanging out with them for a couple of days.
It'll be a great time. And then Steph, also the event coordinator with Stormy Hill Harley Davidson, has done a fantastic job. She was pretty awesome to talk to on the phone. So I am looking forward to meeting her face to face. And so I'm actually wearing a gift that Brandy blessed me with at the end of the night. Chuck, it probably might be better for you to read it.
What if I don't want to read it?
It would be better coming from you than me.
Oh, you think a happy wife is a happy life?
Yes, absolutely right. So I
wanted you to get the psycho one.
I know, but it's not really. No,
Well,
that's
you're
not
sort
really
of psycho.
me. Oh, what I want to be, but no one else knows that but you. So, but I love my hat. It's a great vented through the
it's a
back.
beautiful
So in a
hat,
hot,
really is.
it's kind of got the rugged, torn up look to it. So it's very classy,
I don't know,
very
like
cool.
torn up. That's
Well,
not giving it.
does.
That's
It's
not
got
giving
the,
it.
the shred look, like
Well,
the torn,
it's
ripped
like
jean
you gotta
concept.
get in a fight with a werewolf. That's all.
No, but and then I got the glitter on the whole
same time.
So I love it. It's a fabulous hat. It's very comfortable, and it's got a nice opening in the back for long hair, so you can put your hair through it too.
It
So
is
as a
really
girl,
neat
it's
hat.
a really cool hat.
I like it because most people don't know, but those vented hats, they really do help a lot in
Especially
Florida
for us.
because we have some for the Chuck-n-Deb show, and I love mine.
Love it.
As hot-headed as I get.
Yes, and yeah, you said it, not me. I'm not going there.
Yeah, why not?
So, of course, going to Leesburg, it's all about riding and all about motorcycles. And we wish we could have ridden there, but we mentioned we've got
Again,
a lot of gear and a lot of stuff.
And then we're having problems.
Right.
Because the wobble.
We
Remember the
talked
wobble?
about the wobble last week.
If you haven't
and
heard about the
Thumper.
wobble, you want to go back and listen to that session. That's
right.
show,
that show for
that
sure.
podcast or whatever.
Oh my
Oh, yeah.
goodness. Yeah. So
The
that
wobble.
was the wobble.
So what about the wobble? So the wobble, the bike's in the shop,
It's in
which
the
is
shop.
at Dan's.
Yep.
V-twin.
Dan's mobile V-twin. Well, it used to be mobile all the time,
that's
and
right.
now
No,
he's grown into.
But Lenny's doing the mobile now.
Yep, he's
and
back
Lenny's
on
a
the
great
road.
mechanic because he basically
Dan has done a great job of surrounding himself
my
with
bike,
some
so.
fantastic.
Oh yeah, he's got some really good
that
mechanics over
specialize
there.
in all sorts of
Dan
things.
himself is just totally awesome. If you don't know Dan, Dan's V-twin, they're off Cattleman over there in Sarasota. Yeah, we're giving some kudos.
Amazing
And
shout
He's a
out
great
to
guy. We love
Dan.
Dan a lot. He's done a lot for us. We've been with Dan ever since he started off,
Our-
and we're just proud to be with him. We've held off for a little bit, but it's time to let Dan know that we really do appreciate him quite a bit.
Yes, thank you so much, Dan. So Dan, actually, we started with Dan with our first Harley Davidson, which was a Sportster.
The Sporty.
And now he handles the whole Bell fleet, and I don't want to brag about that, but they're older motorcycles, but we love them because we love to ride what we call kind of raw without all the extra fairing goodies. But that might be some coming up, so we can add that to the
We're
fleet
gonna
as
definitely
well
get that in there,
someday.
I think.
I think so too. So it's just a matter of time. But Dan is an amazing mechanic that takes great care of all of our motorcycles and has
He's someone you can trust for sure.
years and years. So
You don't want to
thank
give
you,
any
Dan.
thought to Dan and what he has to recommend. He's always watching out for your safety and for what's best for you and your motorcycle. And there's a lot of people out there who know Dan, and he's built his reputation himself. He just started off
Sure
doing
has.
that mobile V-twin, and out there just doing it, starting there, and he's grown a successful business. So big, huge kudos to Dan. Well deserved. He's got a beautiful family.
Yes.
2 young boys. I love seeing the Facebook pictures and all their dirt biking they're doing, and he's got a beautiful wife as well.
Yes.
They just have such a lovely family, and we're just grateful and thankful to know Dan and all that he's done for us, and we just we can't say enough about him. We always brag about him to everybody. If anybody asks about it, we let them know that we do business with Dan, and that's the way we like it.
And one of these days, I'm going to have Dan chop the Sporty. I think we've talked about some different things.
I don't know.
That I'd like
Dan and I
to
might have to do it together because I want to do it myself.
Okay, I'm there with
I
you
mean,
too. I'll help.
I'm with chopping the Sporty.
We'll make it
I know
pretty badass. I think.
I think it'd be a lot of fun.
the
It's
Sporty
just one of
would
those
be
things
fun.
when you have to have some time to be able to do it.
I know.
And I think it would be really cool to be able to turn that Sporty into something else. I love the Sporty as the way it is, but I think we can have some fun with it for sure.
We can absolutely make it something unique and everybody will just be amazed and wowed at when they see that. So, yep, shout out to Dan. If you go to Dan's shop, here's one thing I think that's important that you'll need to make sure you do is ask him if his mobile unit is there, to take a look at that, because anytime he would be on site location doing any of the work, that trailer that he has, his mobile unit is absolutely immaculate.
Yeah,
He's
pretty
got
cool.
it really organized with the way it's set up for the lift and
Had
all
to.
the work. He just did it. I mean, just the thought process alone that went into
to
that
put
from an
into it, yeah.
entrepreneurial mindset to make that kind of, because that's where he started. That was his shop.
Yep.
On the road for quite some time, and so it was just amazing for me every time he'd roll up with it. And
he'd get a lot of business that way too, because people would come up and say, "Hey, can I get a card?"
Right.
And so it was good advertising for him to be out in the communities. And again, Lenny, one of his mechanics, is now doing. I think Lenny said either Wednesdays or Thursdays. Check with them, give them
they're
a
back
call.
on the road.
I don't have their number handy right here, right now, because I don't have my phone with me at the moment, or I'd give it out. But you can look it up online.
Dan's Mobile V-twin.
Yep.
Yep, great group of people.
Anyway,
Mechanics.
so
Yep.
we appreciate it very much.
All right.
So where are we going now?
Well, what we wanted to do a little bit different this go around is we have some giveaways that we'd like to give. So for the first 3 people.
Oh, hold on, because
Wait.
that's what we said at the very beginning. Stay to the end.
Correct.
So if you stayed to the
All
end of the
way
show,
to the end.
you deserve to be rewarded.
Yes.
I think you deserve to be rewarded. You're going to be even more rewarded if you take action on what
Now.
Deb's about ready to tell you. This is about going outside your comfort zone and taking a little bit of action. Who knows what might happen by taking action today? And Deb, we can't forget our sponsor, which is, you've got it there?
Yes, absolutely right. So the first 3 people that will comment on our show announcement or the latest post on Facebook, remember it's Chuck-n-Deb Deb Show, that we will be providing to you a complimentary 3-day vacation from our sponsor, Advertising Booster. So we want to give them a big shout out and thank you.
AdvertisingBooster.com. AdvertisingBooster.com is what? They're supplying a complimentary three compliment. Hold on, let's get this right.
Yep.
Three of them.
Yep. 3-day complimentary
vacations. And they've got Vegas and some other things.
Yes.
Well, you have to be 100 miles away from Orlando or something, but they've got Missouri, Brandon, all those
choices.
So bikers, listen up. Here's a free hotel stay.
Yes, that's
a
right.
Complimentary
vacation.
hotel stay that you can get while you're on the road from AdvertisingBooster.com.
So with that, we want to say thank you so much for watching.
For not watching.
For listening
to the Chuck-n-Deb Show. Thanks a lot, everybody. We appreciate you.
We'll be back again real soon. Are you looking to buy or sell a home in the Bradenton, Sarasota area? Then contact Deb Bell at deblbell.com or 941-713-5035 for your real estate professional at Reynolds Realty Gulf Coast. Again, that number is 941-713-5035.
You've been listening to the Chuck-n-Deb Show, heard each Wednesday afternoon at 4 p.m. right here on 1490 AM WWPR. We thank you for listening, and we invite you to join us next week.